Tell me about who's Jeff. If you even want to go, some people start from where they went to school, first couple jobs, whatever was the career building stuff, and then successes. I mean, wherever you want to kick it off, and we'll go from there.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm basically taking over the CEO's job at K9. I've been with the group now for 2 months, and basically I'm be in charge of all the groundwork, the geological work at the Stony Lake deposit or Stony Lake project in Newfoundland. I started off in exploration as a family affair. My dad's a geologist, and I started working in the summer to pay my way through school and university. So I studied economics and of course geology at the same time at UBC. Basically, started working right after that, organizing projects, mostly for my dad, and having my brother involved and working numerous projects all over North and South America.
Yeah. No, awesome. So you got into it fairly early, I guess, kind of pushed into it by your dad, which is cool. Do you want to talk about any of the projects you were involved in, any success stories, places you worked, anything cool that might be, oh, wow, that's interesting. Feel free.
Yeah. I spent a good amount of time, 9 months in Brazil. That was probably the longest stint I was away, working on a project. It was for the niobium producer, CBMM there, and they were looking for gold. So we basically got to tour the country, looking at all the artisanal gold projects that were around in order to, get those guys a project that they could sink their teeth into. So I ended up, drilling a whole bunch of those projects off, and that was probably early '90s that I was there. But shortly thereafter, we, with my dad and brother, were the founders of the Eaglehead project, which is a big porphyry copper deposit in northern BC. And so right now, that's I think it's going to be sold from District Copper to Copper Fox. So they'll be moving that thing from the initial resource calculation, which we did, to the next phase.
Do you know any numbers, like how much was it bought for? Any, like, what was the size
I
of the
don't know
deposit?
the
Any of that
specifics
stuff?
on that. I know that the project at this stage had about 250 million tons of inferred in the preliminary resource calculation. So I think that can be expanded in the next phase, probably 3 or 4-fold, with the next set of work that those guys are going to do.
That's a pretty good success. Any other, I don't know, things you've seen, projects you've been a part of that you want to talk about before we move on?
No, not really. I think that most of the stuff is the same old things that most guys do in exploration. You work on a lot of projects all over the place, and for a lot of juniors for the most part. So yeah, some are interesting, and some are moving forward still to this day. But that's the highlights, I guess.
Oh, cool. Hey, that's awesome. That's a good highlight. How do you get involved with K9? How does it happen? Are you looking for them? They find you? How do we get to, boom, you're the CEO?
I think it was mostly through the fact that I actually liked the Stony Lake project, and it was owned by District Copper and K9. I was talking to those guys with regard to that this is something that they should look at. They've been, basically the company was dealing in vanadium, so they have a vanadium project down in the States, but they were looking for something just to do in Canada. So I think that's sort of, once they liked the project and basically came to me and said, hey, listen, can you look after taking care of the exploration and basically become the CEO? And that's sort of how it transpired.
No, cool. Well, here, I'll ask you a few things about it. I mean, kind of introducing K9 a little bit, do you want to kind of talk about, where the project is for people who've never heard of the company before, haven't even seen your website, kind of give them the quick elevator pitch?
Yeah, the Stony Lake deposit's in central Newfoundland, and it has become one of the hottest areas for orogenic gold in, I would say, in the last year. There's a couple of interesting discoveries. So it looks to be one of those areas that's going to be hot for a while.
Yeah. No, cool. And I guess, going a little bit more detail, so where's the project now for, again, people assuming they've never even looked at the website, where's the project right now, in terms of, what stage is it at? And then maybe explain to people kind of what the next steps look like.
The Stony Lake deposits. The project is at an early stage. It's had some historical work, and there are a lot of gold occurrences, but it hasn't had any drilling to date. We're in central Newfoundland on the Cape Ray Valentine Lake structure, which hosts Marathon Gold's 4 million ounce resource. And we're just tied on to Solcomm's Moosehead project, which they've had some excellent drill results over the last little while. And we're parallel to Newfound Gold's Queensway project. So we're in the right environment for moving the project forward. The plan right now is to basically get all the historical data compiled. We are flying VTEM survey as we speak, and working on getting the next phase of exploration, till sampling, and some more rock sampling and prospecting before the snow flies this season. And the whole idea is to sort of generate some drill targets for drilling.
Yeah, no, cool. So a good kind of Q4 goals. Do you want to kind of talk, curious, a lot of people talk about location, region, you name it. Do you want to talk about East Coast versus, obviously a lot of people talk about British Columbia and places like that. Do you want to talk kind of the differences, but also the opportunities on the East Coast and maybe some of the mines out there that people might not know exist?
Well, I think Newfoundland has become well known in the last little while for mining, and then especially gold. People are really doing a lot of work in that area. It historically has had some of the first mines that were developed in Canada. Is it as prolific as say the Abitibi in Ontario? I think that it could very well be. I think you're going to have some major discoveries over the next few years. So it's an exciting place to be right now.